In exercise 1E, I will briefly talk about the recurrent neural networks and how they remember information. So recurrent neural networks, different from feed-forward neural networks, which we had, for example, the MLP, the feed-forward neural network, will have information that does not flow from the input to the output, but flows within the network itself. Okay, because before that, feed-forward neural networks, they had the input and then the information would be processed through the layers to the output in only one direction. And the recurrent neural network now has its own recurring connections. So a node inside the network will have a connection to itself, where it passes information from the previous period to itself. So it won't have only the input from the current period, but its own output from the previous period will also be the input of that period. And now there are also more elaborate recurrent neural networks. For example, the long short-term memory model, the LSTM, that uses a special kind of structure with so-called forget gates that choose whether to remember or not to remember certain informations over time. And this whole thing of remembering information is very important, not only for things like typical time series prediction, but for example, in natural language processing, when a neural network is used for a text, for example, and it predicts the new words, it needs to have it needs to remember the words from the beginning in the text, so it has context. Okay, so this way it also needs this kind of remembering. Okay, so let's just note this down. The basics basically. Okay, I think that's enough. If we would like to go deeper into recurrent neural networks, that would open up a whole new discussion, because those things can be very complex. They deal with different problems. They have a known algorithm which is called backpropagation through time. And they have, for example, problems like exploding or vanishing gradients, and they have different methods to cope with those. Then there's, for example, also dropouts for these recurrent connections and all that stuff. So this opens up a whole new chapter. So I think just sticking with this short sentence is enough. Just keep in mind that if you would like to go into detail, there is a lot to find out about these interesting networks.